What if one person could master philosophy, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and still believe that knowledge had no end? More than 1,000 years ago, one extraordinary mind changed the course of human history. In the Islamic Golden Age, when great cities became centers of science and philosophy, a young boy appeared whose curiosity seemed impossible to satisfy. He would become known in the West as Avicenna. In the East, he was known as Ibn Sina. To physicians, he was a pioneer of medicine. To philosophers, he was one of the greatest thinkers after Aristotle. To history, he became a symbol of the endless pursuit of knowledge. But long before his name was known across continents, he was simply a child who asked questions that few adults could answer. Ibn Sina was born around the year 980 in the village of Avicenna, near Bukhara, in present-day Uzbekistan. At the time, Bukhara was one of the intellectual centers of the Islamic world. Scholars traveled there from distant lands. Books were treasured. Ideas were debated. Knowledge was respected as one of life's highest pursuits. His father recognized the boy's remarkable intelligence from an early age. Determined to provide the best education possible, he invited respected teachers into their home. Ibn Sina learned quickly, very quickly. By the age of 10, he had memorized the Quran. Soon afterward, he immersed himself in logic, mathematics, literature, and philosophy. While many students struggled with basic lessons, Ibn Sina constantly searched for deeper questions. He later wrote that when a difficult problem refused to yield an answer, he would continue thinking until exhaustion forced him to rest. Sometimes, after sleeping, the solution would suddenly become clear. Knowledge, for him, was never something to memorize. It was something to understand. As a teenager, he turned his attention to medicine. What amazed him was not only the complexity of the human body, but the possibility of relieving suffering. He studied existing medical knowledge with extraordinary discipline. Then he began treating patients himself. According to historical accounts, his diagnostic skill quickly became widely admired. By the age of 18, he had earned a reputation as an exceptional physician. His greatest opportunity arrived when the ruler of Bukhara became seriously ill. Many physicians failed to cure him. Ibn Sina was invited to help. His treatment succeeded. As a reward, he was granted access to the royal library. For most people, such a reward might have meant prestige. For Ibn Sina, it meant something far greater. Books, thousands of them. Works on philosophy, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, natural science, history. He later recalled that the library contained manuscripts he had never imagined existed. Every shelf opened another world. Every book revealed another question. It was there that his intellectual vision expanded beyond any single discipline. He believed that truth could not be divided into isolated subjects. Philosophy helped explain reason. Medicine revealed the wonders of the body. Astronomy illuminated the heavens. Together, they formed a single search for understanding. Yet even a brilliant mind cannot escape the uncertainty of history. Political instability soon swept across the region. The Samanid dynasty weakened. Courts changed. Cities fell. Scholars were forced to travel in search of safety and patronage. Ibn Sina left Bukhara and began a life that would take him across Persia. He served different rulers as both a physician and a trusted advisor. At times he enjoyed honor and influence. At other times, he experienced imprisonment, danger, and uncertainty. His life became a constant balance between scholarship and survival. Still, no matter where he traveled, he continued to write, sometimes late into the night, sometimes while accompanying military campaigns, sometimes under the pressure of political conflict. For Ibn Sina, learning was not a profession. It was the purpose of life, and during these restless years, he would begin writing the works that would make him one of the greatest scholars in history. As Ibn Sina traveled from one city to another, his reputation continued to grow. Rulers sought his advice. Patients placed their lives in his hands. Scholars challenged him with difficult questions. Yet despite the demands of politics and medicine, he never stopped writing. His discipline was extraordinary. According to historical accounts, he often worked late into the night. When inspiration came, he wrote without hesitation. When difficult problems appeared, he returned to them again and again until he found an answer. Knowledge, for Ibn Sina, was not a destination. It was a lifelong pursuit. During these years, he completed the work that would secure his place in history, the Canon of Medicine. More than a medical textbook, it was a carefully organized encyclopedia of medical knowledge. It gathered centuries of learning from Greek, Persian, Indian, and Islamic traditions. But Ibn Sina did more than collect information. He evaluated it, compared it, questioned it, and expanded upon it through his own observations. He emphasized careful diagnosis, the importance of observation, the effects of diet and environment on health, and the responsibility of the physician to think critically rather than simply repeat what others had written. For centuries, the Canon of Medicine became one of the most influential medical books in the world. It was translated into Latin. It was studied in European universities, and it remained a standard medical reference well into the Renaissance. Few books in history have shaped medical education for so long. Yet medicine was only one part of Ibn Sina's remarkable legacy. His philosophical masterpiece, the Book of Healing, was not about healing the body, it was about healing the intellect. In its pages, he explored logic, metaphysics, mathematics, natural science, and the nature of existence itself. Influenced by Aristotle, yet unafraid to develop original ideas, Ibn Sina asked profound questions. What does it mean for something to exist? Can reason lead us toward truth? How are the physical world and the human soul connected? Among his most famous philosophical ideas was the distinction between necessary existence and contingent existence. He argued that everything we encounter in the world depends upon something else for its existence. Nothing exists entirely on its own. This chain of dependence, he reasoned, cannot continue forever. It must ultimately lead to a necessary, existent one that exists by its very nature and does not depend on anything else. This argument became one of the most influential contributions to medieval philosophy and later shaped discussions among both Islamic and European thinkers. Another of his famous philosophical thought experiments became known as the floating man. Imagine, he asked, that a person comes into existence fully formed. suspended in empty space. They cannot see, they cannot hear, they cannot touch anything. They receive no sensory information whatsoever. Would they still be aware of their own existence? Ibn Sina believed the answer was yes. From this, he argued that self-awareness is more fundamental than our awareness of the external world. It was an astonishing idea for the 11th century, one that philosophers continue to discuss even today. His influence spread far beyond the Islamic world. Centuries later, European scholars encountered his works through Latin translations. Thinkers such as Thomas Aquinas engaged with his arguments. Universities copied his books. Physicians relied upon his medical knowledge. His ideas became part of the intellectual foundation of medieval Europe. Yet Ibn Sina's life was never free from hardship. Political conflicts followed him from city to city. At times, he served as a respected court physician. At other times, he was imprisoned because of changing alliances and struggles for power. Still, even imprisonment could not silence his curiosity. Historical accounts suggest that he continued reading, teaching, and writing whenever circumstances allowed. For him, freedom did not begin with the absence of chains. It began with the freedom to think. In his final years, his health gradually declined. Years of relentless work, constant travel, and political pressure had taken their toll. In 1037, while traveling near the city of Hamadan in Persia, Ibn Sina died at the age of 57. His life came to an end, but his influence had only begun. For centuries after his death, his books crossed borders, languages, and civilizations. His medical writings saved countless lives. His philosophical ideas shaped generations of scholars. His search for knowledge became an example of intellectual curiosity without limits. Today, Ibn Sina is remembered not simply as a physician, nor only as a philosopher. He is remembered as one of history's greatest polymaths, a man who believed that the pursuit of truth required both reason and humility. He understood that every answer opens the door to another question, that certainty should never silence curiosity, and that knowledge gains its greatest value only when it serves humanity. Perhaps that is why his legacy has endured for more than 1,000 years. Empires have risen, empires have fallen, libraries have burned, and civilizations have changed. Yet the ideas of Ibn Sina continue to inspire students, scientists, physicians, and philosophers across the world. Because he never saw learning as the accumulation of facts, he saw it as the lifelong pursuit of wisdom. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson he left behind. The mind has no limits, except the ones we choose to accept